freight train rolling, bringing truth bombs down the line. Promoting the Southland 1 week at a time. Promoting the Southland 1 week at a time. SCV chat starts now.
Do you want to go? Do you want to do it?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, had my other microphone muted, but I was telling everybody I was typing a email a second ago. That was what I've been working on for the past like 3 hours, trying to make sure it's worded correctly. And I was finishing up with my signature, Commander Mississippi Division SCV, SCV. And as I'm doing that and listening to the intro plan, and I get to the part of the intro where it's GCB, the Moose, and the Candyman, I type Mississippi Division, and then I had to backspace out really quickly before I hit send, because I would have sent that, and our newsletter editor would have put that in there. Anyway, good evening,
everybody. Great time with it.
Yeah, he would have loved that. Before we get started, the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of the SCV, its GC, any division, brigades, camps, or other subsidiaries. Strictly those of us who are expressing them. Hello, Miss Linda. We've been missing you. So glad to see you in the chat. We got the legend Paul Gramling, followed by the Lone Ranger Chuck McMichael. Jude, nice to see you. Faversham, Carl.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
We're bringing that back, Dick Nabbit.
No, we're not.
That was a thing towards the end of season 2. For those who don't remember.
Yeah. Let's leave that. Let's leave that dead. Sean McFall, hi, nice to see you. Linda, nice to see you. Johnny Jenkins, glad. I think it's the first time I've seen your name come across, so welcome to the chat. I may be wrong. David, everybody else. Oh, Commander Jimmy Hill, nice to see you. Chief of Heritage Operations, Ron Kennedy. David Pope, I'm glad to see that it's a beautiful evening in the valley of East Tennessee. Hope the bridges are all standing up there. That's a joke. Oh, wow, Donette's on. And Lovey. Ooh. Hey, Lovey. Lovey knows who I'm talking about. Good evening. Well, I hope everybody is having a great week. Glad that Moose is back. I missed him, his self. Wish he could grow a better beard, but it is what it is.
I'm back for like 5 minutes, man.
Yeah, well, I gotta keep you humble. Gotta keep you humble. Really quickly, you want to go ahead and pay the bill for a second?
Dig Navic, go ahead.
So we got to pay the bills around here. This is a labor of love for us. Whenever we get a sponsorship or get a donation, we love to take it. And we got a sponsorship from 1175 Firearms Training there in Coleman County, Alabama. Carl Jones's wonderful business. Guys, if y'all need to learn anything about firearms, talk to Carl. Anyway, he sponsors our Moose Fact of the week. And the Moose Fact of this week is, in the Algonquin language, moose means eater of twigs. So, Vinny, you may be onto something with that veganism, buddy.
I noticed you did this even while I was gone. I tuned in for maybe 2 minutes last Monday to remind you of something, because I forgot to tell you before I left on vacation. I pop in, and the first words I hear, all right, now it's time to pay the bills, even though Moose isn't here. And I'm like, he wouldn't do it with me not here. You 100% did it with me not even here to defend myself.
Listen, we are earning that 75 cents.
That goes on the thing. We were like, all right, this is how much sponsors have to pay. And like Carl got like what'd you call it? A Moose discount?
No, it wasn't a Moose discount. It was all I said, and it was before we agreed on what the set terms of sponsorship was. All I said was, Carl wants to sponsor a section of the show, and you said, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead with it.
Well, let's be honest. You're going to handle the business side of the chat. So when you brought it, like, hey, Carl wants to sponsor something, I was like, all right, yeah, like, why would I look into it? I'm a producer. All you see I do.
This is a joint venture, buddy boy.
It has gotten that way. When we started, I was supposed to be just the computer guy.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't even see it coming, and like we just get on
like
the
a freight
chat,
train rolling down the line.
and like before we go live, and it's like maybe 5 minutes before we go live. Connor goes, "Oh, by the way, I have Carl sponsorship. You want to see it?" Like, yeah, sure. Pulls it up, Moose Fact of the Week, and I said, "Hold up." I was gonna wait, time out. Does that mean Connor put this in your mind?
We cannot confirm nor deny who came up with it. All I know is that 75 cents has really come in handy.
We better use it to promote an actual Moose Fact.
Well, I mean, we could we could take them from Moose Facts to Moose Facts. Do you really want me airing out your secrets and stuff like that?
No, we're good. You know too much.
Moose Fact. Moose went to Kentucky a couple years ago on a secret vacation.
Yep. Thanks for that one.
You're welcome.
That was a lovely conversation.
You're welcome. And it was in a very hotly debated business negotiation at the gazebo in Columbia. There was not alcohol involved, and there was definitely a cake that had rare frop on it was not consumed that evening.
At least you didn't eat Spam.
Spam is good for you.
I like Spam.
I've used an opinion. I'm not a doctor.
Poor Thomas. At least he got a free vacation.
He had he had Vienna sausages.
Yeah, he had sausages, but that's all he ate because he paid for an extra week at the hotel because he thought that for some reason he said a Canadian member told him that the elections happen after reunion. So he went ahead and rented a whole second week and told everybody that he was a bit disappointed, but congratulated Jason anyway. But he stayed up at the national reunion for a bit and ate sausages for the whole week. Bless his heart.
Anyway,
completely.
So, because you have been missing in action, you get to. When we talked earlier, because you've been missing in action, because Adam bailed on us.
In Adam's defense, I mean, he was like, I thought it was the fourth Monday.
It is.
It is.
Normally. Oh, we've got 5 Mondays this month.
Oh. Ooh. Where you going to come up with that extra program?
29th, trivia night.
Hey.
I will make sure I have my trivia books with me.
Justin, I go on a 1-week vacation with my high school friends every year to the beach. This was our 4th year, and I usually kind of tune everything out for a week. It is very hard to get in touch with me that week.
It is.
I probably only answer to my father.
He does.
That's really it. I only answer to my father, and if my grandmother's worried about me.
And I know not to even call him or text him or Facebook him during that time.
Yeah. I remember the first year we did it with SCV chat, and you text me a question. I text you back the Sunday before the next episode.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, so Moose has worked up a talk.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let Moose talk.
All right. So a bit ago, I decided I wanted to go around a couple camps in my division talking about you. and how to help recruit, how to help retain, and overall what the youth of potential future SCV members.
Pause. There's a new video on here.
You can't play that until the break. I have specific instructions. I haven't seen it. He told me not to let you see it until we get to the Pop-Tart break.
All right, continue on then.
He's looking forward to it. I've got no idea. I'm a bit scared. But going back to it, I made up this discussion a bit ago. I guess after this I'll have to update it. But I still wanted to give it on SCV chat at least once. Our youth today are facing just it's a new break song, Carl said,
Okay.
for our breaks, our Pop-Tart breaks. Our youth are facing some very stacked odds against them. They're being forced to pick sides. You've heard it describe it on here a lot, so I won't dive as deep as I normally would in a talk. But you've heard me, Connor, the Kennedy twins, past commander-in-chiefs all talk about a cold civil war that we're in. We get that name because, of course, of the Cold War. There's no actual battlefield fighting. And, of course, it's actually what we're facing today is more of a civil war than our ancestors ever faced. Hence why I always call it the War of Southern Independence. But digressing, I feel like there's a perfect description of what we are facing today. And on that, our youth is forced to pick sides. They're forced to pick a side that they are brainwashed that is right. They are told countless times and again that it is right. And they get all this false history from elementary now. Back when I was in school, I heard about it starting in high school, but now it goes all the way back to elementary history. And they're just rewriting everything. And so you will spend about 12 years in normal education systems, high school, middle schools, elementary, kindergarten, all that. And then you could spend at least a minimum of 2 to 4 years at a college or university. And so that's 14 to 16 years of brainwashing that our kids are facing, the future SCV members, the future sons and daughters of the South. That's hard to overcome if you don't know any better. Again, so when they're told to pick a side in this war we're on, what side are they naturally going to pick? The one they've been told is right since childbirth. So, first off, I have a motto. Anybody can be a supporter of the SCV and a member. No matter who they are, I always would like to keep an open mind and hope one day, you never know, we could recruit them. We could make them a supporter, a friend of the SCV, or a supporter in another way. But, deep down, there are some people that are never going to be an SCV member. And a lot of them are going to be my age right now because of multiple reasons that we'll get into in a second. But first off and furthermost, they're brainwashed. And the second off, they're scared. And again, we'll get into that in a second. But we need to do what our enemies did. Not brainwash our youth, but teach them the truth at a very young age. Cadet level, really. While they're growing up as a kid, as soon as they can start retaining knowledge, you need to start telling them the truth. There's no need to wait. The longer you wait, the more chance that your child, your grandchild, or whoever you are helping raise will fall to the brainwashing that our education system is putting out. And yeah, Chuck McMichael's right. This is all part of their plan that they started in the 1920s, and it has increased exponentially the past 20 years. Again, even I can tell the difference from when I was a kid and when my brother was younger. Me and him caught up and talked about that recently. But again, yeah, get to them at the cadet level. That will help them when they pick a side. They'll know about us at least because at least they have a chance to learn about us. But again, people in their 20s are always going to be hard to recruit. Many times I tell people that me and Connor are the exception to this rule. We're young people in the SCV. We are for a lack of a better term, weird. If you haven't noticed, if you haven't picked that up with 3 seasons on this show, we are very weird.
Hey, speak about yourself.
Because, I mean, kids my age are going to be hard to recruit because they're either graduating from college or just going into college, exploring the world for the first time, starting a family, starting a full-time job, or something along those lines. Most kids my age are not going to want to support a volunteer organization in person other than maybe being a paper member for a good couple years. Again, I'm weird. Connor's very weird. So, again, with that being said, it's going to be hard to get people my age. I would always recommend going a good bit younger than me, early to mid high school to lower. And that way, when they kind of start growing up and when they get past their 20s and their 30s or in their 40s, they wouldn't have been brainwashed as much. You can, talk to them. And then sooner or later, they're going to be interested in where they come from. I think there's a time in anybody's life they're interested in their heritage. They're interested in more than themselves. They are finally getting to a point in their life where they want to learn more about themselves. And the SCV as a heritage and a veterans' rights organization can provide that. And so, again, the 20s are always going to be hard to recruit. But I think 30s and 40s, after we start unbrainwashing the next generation, are going to be our bread and butter for a while. And that's one of the plans that I think we should do. I feel so bad for Connor because I made him read this whole speech before I gave it to the first time I went to a camp. So he is having to hear this all for like the third or fourth time. I can tell from experience the problems you have recruiting 18 and 40-year-olds is life. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to get people around that age. Again, you're wanting to go on adventures, leave the small town, leave the house, become your own man, become your own woman. I mean, it's during that time period, you either do a lot of stupid things or you're going out and exploring and doing different things anyway. So that age group, I think, is always going to be hard to recruit, other than the occasional people like me and GCB who've always been interested in stuff like this. There's many ways we could still recruit people my age and lower today, though, because all this stuff will take time, of course, to unbrainwash and stuff like that. But there's ways you can start doing it now. To ensure our future, though, we have to make sure that when we see our Father in heaven, we have people to pass the baton to. So that while I'm talking a lot right now about future things and things we can start now to plant the seeds, don't feel because I'm saying it's going to be hard to recruit people in their 20s and 30s not to go after those types of people. There's always things you can do right here, right now, that you can reap the benefit from in today's time instead of having to plant the seeds. Mr. Ron said it perfectly, and I'll talk about reenacting as a tool in a minute. I love Jason's analogy, our Commander-in-Chief's analogy, about the toolbox. And we all need to get this toolbox together and come up with different ways. I, by no means, have all the answers, and I'll even talk about that in a minute. But if we start getting a toolbox together and we start trading ideas on youth recruitment, on recruitment in general, on retention in general, and on future projects we can do as an organization, we all need to chime in on that one. Yeah, no, John, I completely agree with you. It would be 100% better to get to these people before they go off to college, because as a college student, I can tell you, every day for the past almost 4 years, kind of went into witness protection again. I have been told that the South was wrong, evil, and racist for the past 4 years, every day. It doesn't matter if I'm in a math class, I'm told this because of something simple I wear. My farm's logo, a SCV logo, a Mississippi flag somewhere on my person. I mean, I've been told that for 4+ years, beating it down. And if I wasn't raised correctly, I couldn't tell you the how scared I would have been for my future. So yeah, no, I would again recommend for future seed plannings for future members, for middle high school to early high school, all the way to pre-cadet, or not, or the cadet level age group. Um, yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to say. I love Carl to death because he can also make things sound a lot smarter than what I'm putting out. But yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about with these. Is you're planting a seed, but there's also things you can do now. We need to plant these seeds because, again, we need to guarantee a future. And these young kids who might not be able to do something for 20, 30 years, but they'll be there. And then we need to recruit people now that will take up the baton after we get done. So it's a continuous cycle, and I think I'm preaching to the choir on that one. I think we all know that. Connor told me that we've been talking about recruitment and stuff like that for a while on the show this past week. So I'm trying to keep it new and encouraging. Let's see here. We need to get involved on the camp level. I've always said that camp levels are the backbone of the organization. We need to make sure that that when we recruit someone, we keep them involved on the camp level, and we persuade them and encourage them to get involved on the division and national scale. Again, camps are the backbone. I think if you start with getting them involved in the camps, then they'll want to go up that ladder. Because again, years ago, I went up to Division Lieutenant Commander Connor Bond.
Don't blame me for this. Don't blame me for this.
Blaming you.
Actually, you went up to me.
I said that. I said about 4 years ago almost. I went up to then Lieutenant Division Commander George Connor Bond and asked him I wanted to get more involved in the SCV. He first recommended that I get more involved in my camp and become an adjutant, gain more responsibilities, and we'll talk about that in a second again. And he also talked about how to get involved in the division. And then after I started getting involved in the camp, I got involved in the division. Then naturally, I wanted to get involved in the national, know what more our national organizations do. So, again, when you start with encouraging on the camp level, especially keeping them hard on the camp level, like keeping them going, keeping them invested, that will pay off because then, like, even if they just stay involved in the camp level, that's the backbone of this organization. You're making sure you have more people to go out there and do the job of protecting our heritage. And then naturally, you'll have a lot of them wanting to move up to division and help out there and then national. So again, yeah, John said you need to talk to people. Yes, go out and talk to people. You don't have to have business cards, Corey. I will be getting on some of my ideas for recruitment in a second. I wanted to kind of discuss all this stuff first. I thought it was very important to the conversation. Yeah, wear an SCV hat logo. Either one I've seen draw a lot of attention, and it starts the question. Our logo is a great way to start the question because it really pops. I love our logo. And so people will come up and either talk to you about it, or you could tell right off the bat they're not going to be interested in the organization anyway. But again, digressing and trying to move on with the topic, I blame George Connor Bond for my condition in this organization. The number one weapon our enemy.
I think it's more that you credit me.
I credit you, yes. I credit you for my involvement going more into the camp and division and national.
Well, because blame is such a harsh term.
Okay, yeah, no. I'll credit you for getting me more involved than I ever have. Because I was always just a camp member that I would donate money, but then again, I was in high school, so it was my father's money. So I would donate his money, and I would help out with camp events, and that's great. But there was still more I could be doing for my camp. There was still more I could be doing for my division. And community projects. I love you, Mr. Sean. We're going to be talking about that soon as well. I talked about earlier some of the things that my generation and younger are facing. even if you can get through the obstacle of brainwashing from a very early age, which is about 14 or 16 years of brainwashing, you still have to deal with cancel culture. And I, by no means, have the answer on how we should deal with cancel culture right off the bat. But I've seen it attack without notice. I've seen it destroy lives. And we at least need to start coming up with a battle plan. Connor, I think there's a great book that has a battle plan, isn't there?
Yes.
Dixie Rising's Rules for Rebels is a great book that I would recommend everybody to read. It gets the ball rolling on a battle plan. It really is how we need. It has everything we need almost to win this. You just need to go in, read it, even add your own ideas. What could you do? Dixie Rising's Rules for Rebels. I'll plug that real quick before we continue. Again, I was talking about cancel culture. Usually at this time, I would tell a story to a cat. I'm going to do that to you poor people. About how one of my friends wanted to join, but cancel culture got him, so he never joined the SCV. But the reason I'm telling you guys all this is that it is very important to understand what youth is going through. 100% agree with Carl, and actually, I love Carl to death because that is going to be my next talking point: is getting involved in the community, and that will also help, of course, recruitment. Because when you have a presence in your community, first off, people know who the real you are. Rebuilding the SCV's image of these hateful people that the media and our enemies have portrayed us as. Going out and getting in the community, it will 100% help out with recruitment, retention, and dealing with cancel culture in either the small or big town you're in. Again, when the community knows you and they hear bad things in the press or on the news, or they see someone attacking y'all, or they see someone being canceled, wait a minute now, these people came out and donated to a blood drive last week, or did this or did that, or donated to the Wounded Warriors Project. There's a lot of things you can do. And there's many other things you can do. But I would recommend highly getting involved in the community. Something I am pressing for, and we're doing more as my camp. Be involved in the community as much as you can. Team up with other local camps and show that we aren't just scattered camps. They're very good, Victor. Perfect. Love it to death. Let's see here. But again, the reason I was telling you all that, and I'll get off this very quickly, I've seen so many camp commanders do a great job recruiting young people. For them to mess it up and these younger groups leave because this camp commander or somebody doesn't understand what the youth is facing. Because again, back when I was young, you could play Dixie loud in the streets, have a Mississippi flag and Third National flying in your truck, and no one would say a word. If I did that in Oxford, Mississippi now, where I attend university, I might be in trouble. I might get kicked out of university. I've seen people get kicked out for less. Oh, QR code. That's nice. Yeah, no, I agree with that idea. And again, Daniel, that's why I love, and I wanted to do this on SCV chat if Connor ever gave me the opportunity, because I'm apparently a horrible speaker at times, is because I would love ideas thrown out there.
I didn't say that.
It was either you or Candyman. Probably Candyman. Bless his heart. I love Candyman. But again, I wanted to come out here and talk more about ideas. But yes, so please do that. Make sure that you try to understand what the youth is going through to the best of your ability. They're scared. They have no guidance. They need to learn it's okay for them to fight the system. So teach them our side. And then that major weapon of fear will disappear when they know they have people that will have their back. And yes, young people are easily bored. Easily bored. I agree with you 100%, Carl. Let's see here. Let me skip to my talking points on how to help with youth recruitment. So we talked about community earlier. Mr. Grant, I agree with you 100%. But talking about community earlier, getting involved in your community, doing these things, going out to festivals that your town is known for, having a turkey shoot. That's something my camp does. Going out and cleaning cemeteries, Confederate veteran or not. That's something my camp's doing also. And then Connor's camp are a great example on how to get involved in the community and how to grow where they're youth members. You're going to get a set of bagpipes?
Hey, do your talk. Don't be paying attention to the chat.
See, this is what happens when I have talks. We have talked about bagpipes in the chat.
Carl, Moose, talk.
Okay. Yeah. But, get involved in your community. Wonderful thing to do. And again, I think GCB's camp is a perfect example of that. All the work they've done with Wounded Warriors.
Of Mississippi.
What'd you say? Of Mississippi, yes.
Of Mississippi. There's a difference.
Big difference. My apologies. And a couple other things. Perfect example. Something else I would ask for y'all, I think that would help with youth recruitment. Social media presence. People don't know who we are if they can't find us. If they have nothing to look up. If we are only being defined by our enemies. I have seen SCV chat unintentionally, because we didn't talk to these people whatsoever. But just our program, what we do on social media, I've seen it influence. I wish I could go back and count, but a good handful, I would say at the minimum, about maybe 5 or 6, just in the first year, help young people join the SCV.
We even had some of our graphics stolen by a museum in New Orleans that tried to take credit for it.
Yes. And see, because of that, we were able to open up a conversation, though, and a couple people liked our page that day. And so social media presence, it's a great thing. Yes, it is a whole lot of work. You need to have someone that understands what they're doing, and you need to have a couple people that know to at least how to monitor the page. Because trolls and negative people will always be around, and they will always try to ruin every single one of your posts. So it is a lot.
But how satisfying it is when you hit the ban button.
Yeah, it is a great feeling. But again, social media presence will help a lot. A lot of young people are on social media. That's kind of our thing. Facebook, Instagram. I used to recommend Twitter. I have an SCV Twitter, but I don't know how many people my age religiously check Twitter. I would go make sure you keep up with the hot things. YouTube, a lot of them go on there for videos, so that would be a good time to make short historical videos. Or TikTok. TikTok's very big. Hence why SCV Chat has a TikTok. Just keeping things fresh. But I would start off with a Facebook or a YouTube, or Facebook or an Instagram page. You can just post pictures of camp meetings, things you're doing around the community, a couple of things you're doing to help out your a couple things you could do to improve the image. So again, social media is another way. It's very hard work, but again, I will always vouch for it. Something else to do is I would recommend showing the faces videos. Diversity is turned into a bad word with people like us, but we do have a diverse organization. We have people from different backgrounds, religions, ages, educations, jobs, hobbies, and races. And people need to know that. People need to know that this is not just an organization for one thing. You can join this organization and do a great many of things. Again, as I'm saying, these different things that I'm talking about to help with youth recruitment, they will work great all together. But, some people don't want to get involved in the community that much. They might do reenactments more. Great. You'll attract that reenacting crowd. For people who want to get involved in the community, you're going to attract those people. Again, there's something different for everybody in this organization. Hence why I call it a diverse organization, because there's so many things you can do. Our organization is not just a one-trick pony, if you will. There's so many things you can do, and people don't understand that outside of our organization. So if you can tell these younger generations that, tell them, well, what are you interested in? You like this, 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 this. You're giving them something to latch onto that they will like and they will work hard at. Of course, education is very important. Again, that kind of goes hand in hand with all we're talking about. Not just education, though, but show them the strong Southern roots that we have to the present. Commander Billy said, we live stream our camps meetings every month. It lets people see and hear what we're doing from the comfort of their home. That is a great idea. My camp does a post every now and then about what we talked about and what we're doing in the community. But I really like that idea, Billy. Again, there's so many things you could do. But real quick, we're going to the end of my talk, and so in order to drag this out just a bit longer, we are going to take a smidge of a Pop-Tart break, so y'all can have a break from my annoying voice and hear the new SCV Chat Pop-Tart break theme song. So without further ado, let's have a pop.
Well, the guys are on the break now, don't know where they've gone to. Let's go to the kitchen and get ourselves a treat.
That's almost as good as Hound Dog. I really want to download that and use that as a ringtone.
Okay. Time for our real Pop-Tart
Well,
break.
before we do, got to pay another bill really quickly. Guys, education's the key in this organization. We've got to be educated, and one great way to be educated is by an educator. Did you know Larry was an educator?
I had no idea.
Well, guys, check out these books. Great books. Brought to us by the current past commander-in-chief, Larry McClooney. The Yazoo Pass Expedition, On to Vicksburg, and In General Beauregard's Defense. All of them great reads. The Yazoo Pass one is the only one written on the Yazoo Pass. My favorite, because I mentioned in it. On to Vicksburg does the Central Mississippi Railroad. In Defense of Beauregard, Moose will talk about that one.
Wait, what?
Talk about it.
Well, Dick Nabbit, I was put on the spot. In Defense of General Beauregard, or In General Beauregard's Defense, is a great book on how past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney Jr. did, presenting almost a court case-like feel of Beauregard's defense.
Beauregard's been getting the shaft for the past 170 years.
Yes, Beauregard is basically.
Go ahead.
Beauregard's been basically given the shaft for the past, 100 years or more. So the past Commander-in-Chief's book is like a court case read. You feel like you're in a courtroom, most when I read it anyway, and you feel like you're getting facts to help prove that General Beauregard was a good general. And, it helps you see him in a whole new light. I loved it. I would recommend it to everybody. Again, I love books. It's a weird thing for a college student to say nowadays. I just don't have the time to read them. So, yes, you can get all these at LarryMcClooney.com.
That's LarryMcClooney.com. Links to his Amazon page on there, as well as his contact information if you want a signed copy, or if you would like to bring somebody who is interesting to come speak to your camp. He'll be happy to come as long as the schedule makes it. But again, that's LarryMcClooney.com. He owes us a check.
All right. Are we ready? We ready for the actual commercial break, Pop-Tart break now?
Yes.
All right. Here goes all.
got into the SCV after receiving a reward back when I was in high school. I had no clue what the SCV was. All I knew was that it was a rebel flag and it was supposed to be racist. I decided I would go and look further into it. Everything that we're taught from a very young age is that the Confederacy was wrong. They were treasonous. But it turns out it wasn't just because the South had slaves. This was because of a very fundamental principle of big government. There's nothing more American than keeping the government in line. It's what we were bred to do. It comes down from 1776, Declaration of Independence. It's because we decided to keep a government that we deemed tyrannical in line. That's what the true definition of the cause is. Me being a young black American and being a part of the Sons of Confederate Veterans is a shock to a lot of people. The black Confederate soldier would have had to have been one of the hardest working soldiers there was. These are men who decided to take up a cause because in the end, it was their own cause. In fact, most owners wanted the slaves to stay back because that was how they were steadily making income. They made a choice to do something that was bigger than themselves. And that's why, as a black Confederate now, it is my duty that I owe them to do something greater than myself. Confederate history is American history, and you cannot separate the two. I am Sammy Travis, descendant of Private Benjamin Rowe, a Confederate veteran.
All right, we are back. Coming towards the end of my talk. Please remember,
No spamming.
no spamming the chat, please. There will be a part if GCB and I have enough time to talk about ideas for a second on youth recruitment and just recruitment in general. I, again, wanted to do this for ideas, just something I thought of now. I want to add something in this talk that I didn't think of before I did it. So even after today, I'll be editing this and adding a couple extra things. But again, as I was saying before our Pop-Tart break, you have to show the real history of the South. You have to educate and make sure you show them that there are strong Southern roots to the present. That this stuff that went back all the way almost 150 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, I'm pretty bad at math, still has an effect on the future today. And also show them that American history, Southern history, isn't just from 1861 to 1865. Southern history is so entwined with American history that people gloss over it. So don't gloss over it. So show these younger generations, these new members, the Southern side to history that we don't hear anymore. Show them that they lost my note. These all got knocked off when I started the Pop-Tart break. Show them that our meetings are business but can be fun. What do I mean by that? A lot of people, when they see our business meetings, sometimes think, especially kids my age, because we have the attention span of a lab dog.
Don't talk about Allie that way.
No. My dog has a greater attention span than half my generation. But I'm just saying, they see it as boring. They see it as, really could be doing this, could be doing that, could be on my phone. Stuff like that. And again, as they get older, as we get older, we'll find that more appealing, if that makes sense. But show them that going to the business meetings early. I love going to the business meetings early because before I have to get serious and do work, I can goof off with people I look as my brothers. All SCV members are my brothers. I absolutely love almost everybody in the SCV. And so I love going in there and talk to them. Make it fun. Make these things fun. But also, keep a strong line on when something needs to be serious. Cadets, I would say focus on the cadet program. I love the cadet program. I think it is a great program, and I want to see it flourish more. And so, sorry, 1 second, everybody. Kind of multitasking tonight. But
anyway, while Moose is trying to regain his thoughts, Moose, for those that don't know, was one of the first cadets in why he's so on fire for the cadet program. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago about, trying to do some stuff to revitalize the program, make it work better for those youths that are in it, everything like that. And that's something that every camp really needs to look into. Something else to think about. And I know it's a lot of money out, to try to to pocket out up front. But, consider buying, if you have a grandson that is expressing interest in it right now, who wants to go with Papa and hang out with Papa and everything like that, go ahead and buy him his life membership. I mean, if you're going to, if you want him in, go ahead and buy him his life membership, and that way he always knows that he's in the organization. That's one thing that is it expensive? Yes. It's a lot of money to come up with up front. No, because we do have the conditional program. As long as you continue to make those payments, you can get your life membership for as little as $100 a month. You just got to pay it. You got to do that. The other thing that Moose hasn't really mentioned, and it's more for the millennial thing, because even though we're only 6 years apart in age, is it 6 or 5?
I think it's 6. I think
How old
you
are
are
you?
the same age apart from me that I am from my younger brother.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
23. Yeah, it's 6 years. So even though we're 6 years apart, we're different generations. My generation, the millennials, we really like something that feels authentic. That it's an actual experience, which kind of goes back to what Moose was talking about with those community service or camp projects. Do something like that'll help. Also, Moose, we're just going to go ahead and move on to my thoughts on the idea because I've been quiet for the entire episode, and that's unlike me.
I have
Carl, that is a good point.
If I can talk about.
Huh?
Then I said I have 2 more things on my. Let me talk about them.
Okay.
He sounded so disappointed.
I was on a roll.
He's let me do this as a welcome back thing. If I tried this stuff, let's say next week, I'd just be kicked off the stream.
Well, next week we got Adam, so.
Okay, next week we got Adam. But again, cadet program, I would put a focus on that. It helps them get involved. Make sure they don't get their certificate and run. If you have to, carpool with these people. Drag them to meetings. Sooner or later, they will start enjoying it.
Don't kidnap.
Don't kidnap. We are not condoning kidnapping. The views and opinions expressed on this broadcast
don't kidnap.
Or don't kidnap. But feel free to carpool and make sure they see the positive side of the SCV. Encourage them to move up the ladder of the SCV. So many younger SCV members have left this organization because they have seen the bickering or being stabbed in the back. And it's a very sad thing. But if you encourage these members and keep them having a positive outlook on the SCV, you'll keep them no matter what. Through the hardships, through cancel culture, through everything that we have talked about tonight, you'll keep them. That's always where I kind of leave it off on. I'm going to add a couple things after tonight. I want to hear y'all's opinions, and I want to hear GCP's opinion. So without further ado, this poor man, I will let him talk.
Moose, what is your profession?
I am a college student and a farm hand that trains dogs at the moment.
Okay, so the first half of that's college student. When you were a college student, did you enjoy going to the BSU?
Yes.
Did they feed you at the BSU?
Yes.
Okay. College students are notoriously broke and hungry.
Yeah.
Sponsor a tailgate or cookout. If you're in a college town or college area, sponsor a tailgate or cookout. You don't have to. You don't have to do much. A hamburger, a bag of chips, and some baked beans goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
Don't they, Moose?
Yeah, like the BSU will feed you for the first 3 weeks of BSU meetings and activities, and then after that, by that point, you've made friends. And that's what
I was more on the whole when I came up there to Oxford and you didn't know how to even light your grill. And
I knew.
No,
Just
you
not
didn't.
that one. I've never cooked on it.
Yeah. The
Baptist Student
BSU
Union.
is a Baptist Student Union. It's a religious organization made up of Southern Baptist Armenian children that don't believe in Calvinism for the most part.
Some of our members do, actually.
Hey, I'm glad y'all have some Calvinists. Anyway, we're not getting into that tonight. But only thing you really have to do is grab this logo, which is one of our alternate logos, or one of the other alternate logos, make some flyers, put them around campus. I mean, you're looking at maybe 30 cents a page at Office Depot. Want to talk about Southern history, want to talk about Southern culture, come to the SCV cookout at wherever near campus you're having the cookout. It's also something great for retention for your camp because who doesn't like, cooking out? Do that. That's something simple. It's something, maybe $300, but still you're getting a footprint on the college campus.
Yes. And it will work. I have, during my time at Ole Miss, I have went to meetings just to eat food. I've gotten involved in political organizations for food. I started going to the BSU, an organization that I spent the majority of my time at Ole Miss serving that student organization because of food. That's how all of it started, getting involved in everything but the Colonel Rev Foundation. It was all because of food.
I mean, if we want to bring them in, we bring them in that way, and we let them eat.
Yes.
Something as simple as that. And after 3 weeks, if it doesn't work, try something else.
Yes. Make sure, again, you welcome them. Don't be, don't make them feel ostracized. Make sure they feel welcome. And at that point, again, the more young people you have, the better, because then they will, start talking. You'll have friends that come to these meetings. I know the University Grays have that effect, that they'll have a lot of older members, but a lot of younger members too, and that kind of feeds off each other. When you first come, you'll start talking to the older members, then you'll notice a lot more younger kids your age, and it'll go into, you only see these people at SCV meetings or an SCV activity. So what do you naturally want to do to see these people that you have a strong connection with in college? You are going to go to more of these events. You're going to go to more SCV things.
Foster a sense of camaraderie.
Yes, that's very important. Sorry, I was reading comments, but I like Billy's thing too. We laugh, we joke, and we make it fun. We've had the last 3 CICs attend camp events, as well as the current CIC. One of our meetings, we had the CIC, the Lieutenant CIC, the Army of Tennessee Commander, and the Division Commander in attendance, which is just phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah, that was National Officers Night.
Yeah, it was awesome. I think someone has a question in the chat. Shoot. You can shoot any questions or just comments. I want to hear people's thoughts on this. Spam train. But yeah, so again, there's so many ways to help youth involvement. I hope you will start experimenting with at least some of these, or at least start brainstorming ideas, because it will help in some shape, way, or form. And of course, if it doesn't help, you're at least planting the seeds in someone around my age or younger, hopefully, that when they get older, they're going to be like, you know what? I think I'm ready to be no longer be a paper member of the SCV. I'm going to be a real member, or not a real member. That's harsh. Be an active member. That's a lot better term. They're going to start going out and doing things then, and not just be a paper member, which we need paper members. But again, every little bit helps, and so bless his heart.
It's a motion sensor light.
While we're waiting on a couple of comments and questions, GCB, is there anything else you want to talk about?
What you got planned for Thursday?
Something that's around division and camp news.
Okay. I've got a division project I want to talk about in September.
Okay. Nick Nabbit, I posted that on YouTube too. 1 second. Yeah, no, please come on whenever you have the project ready. And if you do have a camp or division project, please let me know. You can email scvyouthOutreach@gmail.com, and you will be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. As a matter of fact, it's about that time of the day. We'll go ahead and put this up. Yeah, every member is important. But activism is the goal. I love that quote, Carl. I'm stealing that. I'm putting that in my speech. I will give you somewhat credit. But
well, if it's only someone, he doesn't want it.
Yeah, fair enough. Sorry, I got thrown off by one of the comments. It's pretty funny. But yes, thank you guys. I think a lot of chapters have gone. I don't think a lot of our camps have gone politically correct, have they? I haven't heard about anything like that.
There's one camp in Mississippi that I won't name who they are. But I was listening to their camp commander speak a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how do I put it nicely, that somebody had done an ad for them and it wasn't as PC as they would have liked. So there are some out there, but it's few and far between.
I was going to say, it should be a small group. And thank you, Daniel. I hope to continue talking about how to expand youth recruitment, and I hope to hear many ideas. You can reach out to me to my private SCV page. Do not spam the chat, SCV Chat's Facebook page, unless it is for SCV Chat. For something like this, I would feel more comfortable if you reach out to my page, which is Harrison, Mississippi Division Historian, SCV. All right. Do you have anything else, GCB?
So we got Thursday, we got Look Around, we've got Alamo City Guards chat, Sean McFall and Look Around Southwest Florida. Trying to think of any other spin-offs that we've had. Oh, news for you, Moose. You missed this while being out of town. Starting next month, the third Monday is going to be Carl's show.
Hey!
So Carl is going to be in on that.
Get up with me, Carl.
And then the 29th, if I can remember my books, will be trivia night.
Perfect. Perfect. Thursday, I'll be catching up on all the news that I've missed this past week, as well as I'm going to be trying to find a guest to come on and talk about a camp project, our division project. I'm going to be reaching out to a couple people that I haven't talked to in a while and see if they have an update on their projects. But I guess that's all I can really say about Thursday. Make sure tomorrow is Mr. Sean's show of Look Around Southwest Florida. Alamo City Guards chat has not been able to nail down a day yet because of their crazy work schedule. So whenever they have an announcement about our promotion for when their episode is going to be, please try your best to support. And Look Around the Confederation's Thursday, same Confederate time, same Confederate channel. Make sure you email scvyouthOutreach@gmail.com and you'll be featured on the next coming episode. And I think that's it, right? I think that's all we have to promote, right?
When is the next Commander's Comment?
It is going to be next month, first Thursday.
Yeah, so remember, we've got that going on the channel. Working with somebody for new SCV chat shirts.
Hey!
So, your Moose Mania shirts, while those were cute.
Wow.
New SCV chat shirts.
They do look good. I will say that.
No, we haven't nailed down, but we're trying to do new SCV chat, new chat shirts. Actually, everybody, if you really want us to make shirts with the battle flag logo on it, share this video.
Yes, make sure to share it. Again, these topics that we discuss, all y'all already mostly know this. And, of course, this is usually to spare thought and to gain ideas from each other. And so you need to also share this to people that have no idea who we are. And, again, that's the social media thing coming into play. Someone asked for my email. If you message me privately on my Facebook or my SCV Facebook,
it's scvyouthOutreach@gmail.com.
Yes. But I believe, keep up the great idea sharing. Yes, Miss Linda, thank you for your comment. We hope to. I love these type of episodes for myself personally because I always bum off people's ideas. I like to share them now and then, and of course hear y'all's. Yes, Rebel, the SCV logo is perfect. Are you talking? Well, that's a whole other discussion. It's pretty late.
And it's one we don't get into on this show, to be honest.
Yeah. But I guess without further ado, are we good to go off the air? Are we done for the night?
I'm good if you're good. I'm good if you're good.
All right. Well, again, if you could please, if you have any ideas on youth outreach, youth recruitment, you can go to my personal SCV page. We can talk about it. Love to talk about it. And this will probably be brought up on a future, very far down the line episode of SCV Chats. But again, I will see you guys Thursday for Look Around. And I guess without further ado, I'll sign off, or I'll let you sign off.
Oh, well, no, you've already claimed right.
Oh, dag nabbit. Well, remember, guys, I'll see you Thursday. And no food.
No, you have butchered that. And I'm glad you froze up. No, in the words of the late great Harold Philpott, no Fumar in the elevator. 1, Second, Redder Frop. And third, Faversham.
Faversham. Haversham.